I'm often asked why I call my book Fall Like a Rose Petal. This is the title of my book. This is my book. Its title is Fall Like a Rose Petal, and it was published in 2014. So I'm asked, why did we call the book Fall Like a Rose Petal? There's an interesting story behind this. In December 2010, we visited the Osho ashram in Pune. We'd never been to the ashram, so we wanted to go in and look into the ashram and see those beautiful gardens that are much talked about. Now, at that time, there was no book. I was just writing. There was no book in my head. I didn't even think I would write and publish a book. I was writing letters to my two children, Ashirvad and Anchal, sharing with them the lessons that we were learning on a daily basis, going through the cathartic phase that we are currently still enduring, which is our decade-long bankruptcy. So I was just writing these letters. These letters were later compiled and published into the book Fall Like a Rose Petal. But at that time, in December 2010, there was no book in my head. And we were visiting the ashram, and we were shocked to find that we had to spend 900 rupees per head to enroll as life members of the ashram if we wanted to enter the ashram. This was a one-time fee, and the reason why this fee was imposed, we were told, was that earlier that year in 2010 in February there had been a bombing in the Koregaon Park area where the ashram is located at the German bakery. There had been a bomb blast, and so the ashram authorities wanted to restrict entry into the ashram. That's why the steep entry fee. Now, we were three of us, myself, Vani, and Vani's sister-in-law Kala, and that meant we had to spend 2,700 rupees. Honestly, Vani and I didn't have that kind of money on us. So we asked the security guard, is there some place else that we can see in the ashram where there was no entry fee? And he pointed to the bookstore next to the gate, adjacent to the gate. We walked in there. Vani and Kala were drawn towards the huge glass windows of the bookstore from where they could look into the ashram, and they went to catch a glimpse of the beautiful landscaping and the garden out there. I went in the direction of the bookshelves, and there the first book that caught my attention was Osho's book titled Just Like That. And this is the book, and this was on December 18, 2010. And I have this habit of looking at the book from the back. So I turned to the back cover, and right there at the back was the Fall Like a Rose Petal story. I was amazed when I read it. It's a fantastic story. It's a beautiful story. It's a story that Osho often told his followers. And it's the story of a Sufi master who asks his disciples, have you seen a rose petal fall? When it finishes its job of blooming as part of the flower, it falls down unquestioningly. It could be blown by the wind in any direction. It could end up in a place of worship. It could end up in a graveyard. It could end up on a newly married couple, or it could end up in a garbage dump. Or simply, it could be lying on the road and a vehicle that's passing by can crush the petal. But the petal does not question, says the Sufi master. The petal falls unquestioningly and accepts the life that it has been given. So the master asks his disciples, so why do we human beings question life? Why do we resist life? And he points out to the fact that we are all questioning life, and we are resisting the life that's been given to us, and which is why we suffer. So he invites us through the story to fall like a rose petal, to be accepting of the life given to us. I was fascinated reading that story, and I shouted out to Vani, called out to her. I said, Mom, whenever I publish a book, this is what I will call it. Fall Like a Rose Petal. Imagine, we didn't have a book in mind. I had never thought I would be a published author, but the title came in first. So to me and Vani, Fall Like a Rose Petal is not just the title of my book. It's not just the title of my book. Fall Like a Rose Petal is a way of life. We have learned through this cathartic, painful upheaval in our lives, this bankruptcy that we are faced with, we've learned to be accepting of the life that's been given to us. We have learned not to question life, and therefore we've learned the art of non-suffering. Fall like a rose petal is a way of life for us now. And many people did not want us to call this book by that name. They advised me, saying, this is a book that is going to touch the lives of many people, and many people may not want to pick it up because it talks about falling down. And I said, no, this is a beautiful title, and this title really invites people to pause and reflect on life. And so I went on to call the book Fall Like a Rose Petal. I'm happy I did that, because many people who have read the book said they were drawn to the book because of the title. And the cover is designed by a wonderful creative genius, I would call, Soumya Nagarajan, who at that time was living in California. And she did this over a Skype call. She took the brief for this cover design on a Skype call and did this for us. Westland, my publisher, was very happy with the cover, and so it stuck. And I'm told many people pick up the book because of the title and the way the cover is designed. And if you'd like to order a copy of Fall Like a Rose Petal, please do check out Amazon or Flipkart. You'll find the book there, or in any bookstore in your neighborhood. Do read the book and do share its message, because it's a very important message of learning to accept our life for what it is. When there is acceptance, there is no suffering. So that's the story behind Fall Like a Rose Petal. That's the invitation. Fall like a rose petal.